Welcome to the Implementation Toolkit Challenge. I'm absolutely thrilled you're joining me for this explainer. Look, if you're a learning and development professional wanting to, really sharpen your project management skills and make sure your next launch goes off without a hitch, you are in exactly the right place. Here's the deal for today. I'm going to throw a real-world project scenario at you. Your job, tell me which specific implementation tool is the absolute best fit for that situation. You'll have exactly 5 seconds on the clock to decide before I reveal the answer. Sound good? Okay, let's jump right in. Section 1, Task and Workflow Management. Let's dive into this first block of scenarios. Okay, Scenario 1. Picture this. During the implementation meeting, you and the team agree on several follow-up actions. You need to revise the storyboard, confirm the filming date, upload the assessment, and test the learning management system. As the project manager, you have to record each of these actions. Who owns them? The deadlines, and their completion status. So, which implementation tool would you use? You've got 5 seconds. Time's up. The answer is an implementation action tracker. Basically, an implementation action tracker records agreed actions, assigned owners, deadlines, and progress. It is literally the perfect way to keep those immediate, day-to-day next steps totally organized. Right, moving on to Scenario 2. This one's a bit of a workflow puzzle. The development team is working on several modules simultaneously. Some tasks are just sitting there waiting for subject matter expert feedback, others are actively under development, and a few are actually ready for quality review. The team really wants to visualize this entire workflow so they can immediately spot any bottlenecks. Which implementation tool would you use for this? The clock starts now. And stop. You need a Kanban board. A Kanban board visually organizes tasks by workflow stage and helps the team identify delays and bottlenecks. It's a real game changer because it gives you that instant visual clarity on exactly where the work is getting stuck. Section 2, Timelines and Status Reporting. Let's step back and look at the bigger picture. All right, Scenario 3. Your program includes content design, storyboard approval, media production, LMS testing, facilitator preparation, and finally the launch. Management wants to understand the exact sequence of activities, test dependencies, and whether a production delay is going to mess up the launch date. Think big picture sequence here. Which implementation tool would you use? 5 seconds. Got it? It's a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart shows activities, timelines, milestones, dependencies, and the effective delays on the project schedule. It hits the nail on the head when timing and sequence are literally everything for your project. But hey, how do you communicate all that to the executives? That brings us to Scenario 4. Senior management wants a one-page summary of several learning projects. They need to quickly see which projects are progressing normally, which require attention, and which ones are, well, unlikely to beat their targets. Think about what visual gives that quick snapshot. Which implementation tool would you use? Take 5 seconds to decide. Okay, time's up. You would use a RAG status dashboard. A RAG status dashboard classifies projects as red, amber, or green to support quick management reporting. It's fantastic because it instantly flags what needs leadership's immediate attention without bogging them down in the weeds. Section 3, Readiness, Risks, and Roles. Let's shift gears and look at pre-launch prep. As we get closer to launch, the details really start to matter. Here is Scenario 5. Before launching a virtual workshop, the implementation team must confirm that the facilitator has received the materials, participant invitations have been sent, the platform has been tested, attendance sheets are ready, and technical support is available. To track all this, which implementation tool would you use? Think fast, 5 seconds. It's an implementation checklist. An implementation checklist verifies that all required preparatory steps and materials are confirmed before launch. It's exactly what you need to ensure absolutely nothing slips through the cracks at the 11th hour. Now imagine facing a cluster of potential roadblocks. Let's look at Scenario 6. A learning project is approaching launch, but several factors might affect implementation. The subject matter expert might suddenly be unavailable, the LMS upgrade is still unconfirmed, the assessment has a weird technical error, and the whole launch depends on receiving compliance approval. Definitely a real headache. So which implementation tool would you use to handle this? 5 seconds on the clock. All right, the answer is a RAID log. A RAID log records and monitors risks, assumptions, issues, and dependencies that may affect implementation. Honestly, it is your absolute best defense against all those looming uncertainties. Okay, jumping slightly ahead to Scenario 8. Keep up with me here. During course development, the instructional designer prepares the storyboard. The SME reviews it for technical accuracy, the compliance manager gives final approval, and the project sponsor receives progress updates. The team needs to clearly document each person's specific level of involvement. Which implementation tool would you use here? Lock in your answer. You have 5 seconds. You'd use a RASI matrix. A RASI matrix clearly documents each person's level of involvement and responsibility for project tasks. It perfectly aligns your team so everyone knows exactly what piece of the puzzle they actually own. Section 4, Continuous Improvement Wrap-Up. Because the work isn't done just because the project launched, right? Here is your final test, bouncing back to scenario 7. Let's say participant engagement in the first delivery was lower than expected. Bummer, but it happens. The team decides to redesign one activity, test it out during the next session, review the participation data and learner feedback, and then standardize or improve that new approach. Which implementation tool would you use for this final challenge? Let's see if you know it. 5 seconds. And time. It's the PDCA cycle. The PDCA cycle supports continuous improvement through planning, testing, checking results, and taking further action. Huge congratulations on completing this gauntlet. Well done. Seriously. Effective implementation completely depends on selecting the exact right tool for the situation you're facing. When you use these frameworks, you clarify responsibilities, you monitor your progress accurately, you manage complex obstacles, and you continuously improve your delivery. And this brilliantly illustrates our core takeaway for this explainer. Right tool, clearer implementation, better results. But as we wrap up, ask yourself this. Look back at your last major project hiccup or delay. Could it have been completely avoided if you'd simply picked the right tool from this toolkit on day 1? Thanks so much for joining me.